Now, what is exactly a permanent establishment? An observation in the case of Vishakhapatnam is something which even till now is referred to as something concrete in understanding what a permanent establishment is. Let's see the relevant extract of this judgment. The permanent establishment postulate the existence of a substantial element. It is not something which is a sole event which is happening. Their existence has to be of a substantial element of enduring or permanent nature, not a one-off transaction, of a foreign enterprise in another country. So let's say a US company in India, which can be attributed to a fixed place of business in that country. If you see, what this first part refers to is that the presence has to be in the other country on a more concrete than a solitary event. There has to be some degree of permanence in the existence, and that permanence existence should be attributable to a fixed place of business. It should be of such a nature that it would amount to virtual projection of the foreign enterprise of one country into the soil of the another country. So it is like, the foreign company is effectively there in the source country. There was nothing more really that they could have done by incorporating a local entity, which they are not doing right now. If all the business operations that they want to do in India are done not through a legal entity but by themselves in such a manner that it's virtually a projection of the foreign company in the source country. So let's say if you have an agent, the work that the agent does is as good as what you would have done if you were yourself present here. That is called a virtual projection, and if there's a virtual projection, then a PE comes into place. So what are the characteristics of a PE? We will study when a PE comes into picture and all, but on a general basis, let's understand this. Which PE are relevant? PE of an enterprise of a resident state in the source state. Anything outside the source state, not relevant. Significance, it is necessary to tax business profit. As simple as that. If you want to tax business profit, right, then there has to be a PE in India. If there's no PE, then their business profits cannot be taxed. And when I say business profit, the ones which are referred to in Article 7. Duration, it has to be enduring, more than temporary. Impact on other forms of taxation. Now, dividend, interest, royalty, FTS. For them, all of them, you have separate clauses where the taxation work for them independently. Article 10, 11, 12 for these two, right? But if there is a PE and these are effectively connected to a PE, then many treaties provide that the taxation of these items will not be done under their respective article, but it will be done under Article 7 read with Article 5 if there is a PE that the non-resident has and these payments are effectively connected to that PE. So what should we learn from this presentation? First is, what exactly is a PE? Why is it important? I already told you, if you want to tax the business profit referred to in Article 7, the existence of a PE is necessary. Different situations resulting in a PE. What are the types of PE? Whether it's a service PE, construction, installation, fixed place, agency. Impact of PE on other income covered under specific heads. Key issues, whether the PE has to be seen vis-a-vis the entire group activity or the only activity of the PE is to be considered vis-a-vis the enterprise of which it is supposed to be a PE. Now, if one kind of PE does not exist, so suppose a person does not have a fixed place PE, would that mean that I don't need to see whether he has an agency PE, service PE and anything else? The answer to that is no. You have to see all items of PE, all types of PE to finally rule out whether the non-resident has a PE or not. Non-existence of one type of permanent establishment does not mean that no form of PE can exist. Every year, the functions and facts in the source state need examination to ascertain the existence of a PE. So the thing is that once a PE does not mean it's always a PE. Every year you have to see the facts and circumstances and whether they result in a PE or not. The assumption is that unless there's a change in fact, if there's a PE in one year, it does exist in the other year as well. But if the business model changes, the facts etc. changes, the PE may not necessarily exist in the subsequent years.